Hi guys, another day on Politics Live and another right-winger who is either a member of a shady think tank or a former member. This time the broadcaster invited on Emily Carver, who incidentally blocked me on Twitter. I think it's because I asked her who funds the IEA. Anyway, she had her behind handed to her on the issue of students and their dependents coming to Britain to study and indirectly support the UK economy. Once again, why are these people invited on to shows like this when they don't understand the topic that they're talking about? Have a listen.
We actually don't know if the vast majority are going back. The ONS doesn't collect that data, and they've said that they don't actually know whether these students are emigrating and returning.
Well, I think government's own figures are saying 90%. They do.
We don't know that. The ONS actually doesn't collect that data.
We've got Madeleine.
And it looks like
we've got Madeleine. We've got Madeleine Sumption here. Madeleine, what is the sort of best data we have on how many foreign students return home after they've completed their studies, or within a year or so?
So we do have reasonably good data on this. Typically, if you look over a period of sort of 5 to 8 years, the large majority of people will not extend and go on to other visas. So, more than 80% will see their visas expire. And then we have separate data that suggests that compliance is pretty high. So people do tend to return home after their visas expire.
So once again, you have a situation where the BBC invite on somebody who doesn't know their arse from their elbow to talk about something, and then you have an expert on as well who explains, actually, no, that's not the case. What is the point of this? What is the point in inviting on people who don't know what they're talking about? Like, is it this issue of balance? Well, we need to have an ignoramus, and we have to have an expert. We have to have somebody who knows what they're talking about and balance that out with somebody who just read something on a pamphlet.
Emily, what do you say? So the majority, if they do go back, they are only here for a fixed period of time, maybe a year or so after they finish their courses.
I think the Home Office is concerned that people come on to do these short courses for, say, 9 months. And then they extend through a visa graduate, which allows them to bring family over and then also work. So people are using sort of the university system to get a worker's visa. And I think that is something that happens. And
I think that is something that happens. Do you have any data to back that up? Do you have any evidence to support that case, that position that you're taking? No, it's a feeling. Once again, this thing of, well, on the one side we have people who have feelings about particular situations, and on the other side we have people who have facts. This is detrimental to society, because when the public watch this, they think, okay, we have two experts. Obviously, this person here on the screen is not an expert. She writes for Conservative Home. Now, I don't know how deeply connected she is to the Conservative Party, but she's not an expert. Why are you inviting on people who are not experts? It makes no sense. Unless it's just about this balance thing. We need to have an idiot and an expert on at the same time.
I'm rather confused how... I think bringing dependents, I don't think that's too controversial that people would say, well, hang on a minute, we've got a housing crisis, our public services are looking pretty tricky at the moment.
Once again, she writes for Conservative Home. The Conservative Party have been in power for the last 13 years. Who is responsible for a housing shortage? Is it people coming over to study in Britain? Is it these people who are students taking their dependents with them? Is it their fault that there's a housing shortage?
Surely we want to reduce that burden. Yes, to students. But you can't bring, your kid and your grandma and your...
Not bringing your grandma. That's a complete misunderstanding of what they are. Yeah. You're not bringing elderly parents, adults, and so forth. You're bringing your partner and children. And your partner is more likely than not, if you're a graduate doing a postgrad in this country, your partner is more likely than not also going to be an economic contributor. We can see in the data that they're economic contributors.
So when I talk to
So once again, oh, you're bringing your grandma. She doesn't know this. She's making, these assumptions, but not based on any sort of evidence. It's based on feeling. And the guy here responds by saying, no, it's partners and their children, because it's the family. The family come over and the partner is working, or they have brought money with them in order to fund the lifestyle, or to fund their living costs. They can't claim benefits. So, but once again, as I said, this is a huge problem. You have people who know nothing, absolutely nothing about an issue, and they're being invited on to talk about that issue. And of course, what do? You wing it. You're invited onto a show. What's the topic today? We're going to talk about student visas and stuff like that. I don't know anything about it. It doesn't matter. Just talk about it. Don't worry. On the other side, there will be an expert who knows what the hell they're talking about. You just need to uphold the right-wing side. You uphold the opposite of the expert. Why does the BBC continue to do this? We saw it during the Brexit referendum, where you had Nigel Farage on talking about how everything will be wonderful as soon as the UK leaves the EU, and then you had the experts on, and the experts were warning about the cost to businesses. They were talking about the risk of accessing workers, or for example, the supply chain issues. And what did Nigel Farage respond to? How did he respond to that? That's Project Fear. They don't believe enough in Britain. And they continue to do this. Why the hell do they do this? I really don't understand it. I understand this, to a certain extent, this impartiality clause. But bloody hell, it's rotting the brains of the public, because the public watch this and think, okay, we have one expert on who's saying this, this about immigration, and then we have another expert on who's saying the opposite. Emily Carver is not an expert. She writes for a right-wing newspaper. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.